You know you're a mom when you always have dishes in the sink and you can cook dinner one-handed. You know you're a mom.
You're so mad you just walk the water. Take a deep breath and count off 1, 2, 3.
Good advice, Harrison. You know you're a mom when you take advice from your son.
I know I am a mother when all my grown children who all live far away call their mom when they get sick.
You know you're a mom when you've had to ask the question, is that poop or chocolate?
When I'm in like a little kid setting, like whether it's a play date or a daycare or preschool, and a little kid yells, "It's Benson's mom!"
Yeah.
I knew I was a mom after my first child was born. About 3 days afterwards, I had that intense feeling like I have a baby. I'm a mom and I need to take care of this child and protect him and honor him and raise him up to love the Lord. I was so overwhelmed by it and so emotional about it. And there are many other things that make me think about being a mom, and all of my kids have done that to me. And when Sarah Ann was in Korea, I got that picture that makes me cry, but it was a picture of her as a brand new baby, and I knew I was her mom. Anyway, sorry. That's okay.
A messy bun is your style of choice.
You know you're a mom when your adult children come home to help you whenever you are in need. You never feel forgotten.
You know you're a mom when you can read their favorite book with your eyes closed, when you can sing their favorite song, when you know which is their favorite cereal and which bowl to put the cereal in, and when you can tell your husband which child will not eat their spaghetti if you cut the noodles. But you can't find your coffee. Probably because it's in the microwave, because you've reheated it 4 times already, and you keep forgetting to get it out and actually drink it.
You find yourself crying as you drop off your firstborn at kindergarten, and then you hear a little quiet voice in the back of your head saying, "Yes, 1 down."
You know you're a mom when your kid thanks you for making a meal every single day forever and ever. You catch one of your kids wiping their bum with a Clorox wipe, and when you're so unbelievably tired, you're just desperate for them to go to bed, to go to sleep. And when they finally are asleep and all is quiet in the house, you find yourself missing them, and then you stand in their room and watch them sleep.
Time goes by so quickly. Doyle and I were married in 1961, and I really didn't know anything about babies or taking care of them except the little bit of babysitting that I had done. And after 2 years of marriage, there were 3 little babies added to our family in 3.5 years. It was something new for me, but it wasn't long, and I knew that I was a mom for keeps. Cloth diapers, baby bottles, tears, and a heart full of love.
And so when I had my first baby, I was fortunate enough to have my mom close and my mother-in-law close. And I asked a lot of questions because I didn't really know anything about babies. I didn't do a whole lot of babysitting when I grew up. We weren't around a lot of babies. And so I asked questions. Is this baby okay? Am I doing the right thing? Do I need to do something different? But then the day came when I didn't have to ask so many questions. And so I knew that I was a mom, again, like my mom for keeps, when I didn't have to ask them so many questions, and I thought, yep, I can do this mom thing.
You know you're a mom when you sniff check your clothes for spit up to make sure it doesn't smell too bad because you've been wearing this shirt for who knows how many days.
You know you're a mom when they put that squished red, mashed up little baby girl in your arms and you say, "Oh, isn't she beautiful?"
When you'll do anything to see that little smile.
When did I know I was a mom? And I have to preface that with a little bit. I don't know if you realize that both of my children are adopted, but they are. And one of the first times I knew I was a mom is when they placed that child in my arms for the very first time. Both of my kids were just 3 weeks old, so they were babies. But as time went on, and I was just thinking about being a mom and doing just what moms do, when my daughter was 36 years old, she found her birth mother. And that's kind of a scary time for people who have adopted because you fear perhaps you're going to lose the connection you had with them. I don't know how to explain that, but it's kind of a scary time. And when I really knew that I was a mom is after my daughter had found her birth mother. She sent me a dozen roses, and what she said in that card was, "I am so glad that you raised me and you were my mom." So that really made me feel that way. And then many years later, when our son found his birth mother, again, it was a feeling of, oh, am I going to lose this child? Are my allegiance going to be different? What's going to change? And again, when he found her, and after visiting, he too expressed that, "I am so glad that you were my mom." So those were the times when really stick out to me. And I know that some people feel that they're a mom when they first conceive the child, when the child is born. But again, it was a way different story than most people because my children were adopted, but I am their mom, and I very much feel that. Today when I talked to my daughter, she said, "Mom," she said, "you know, you can tell them also that you're really my mom when I'm struggling and you give me a scripture verse." So that's my story.
You know you're a mom when you haven't had a hot meal in the last 10 years when you sit down for supper.
When your life changes in an instant and you experience a type of love inside that you didn't know existed before.
You know you're a mother when you fall in love with those little human beings, or when you stay up all night when they're sick with them and have to go and do everything the next day to take care of your family. And yet you know you're a mother forever because when they grow up and have kids of their own, they still depend on you for courage and encouragement and lots of prayer.
When I learned more about having to have patience and forgiveness with yourself and your children. I am not perfect at this. In fact, at the beginning of parenting, I was a terrible mom. I'm not any better. I'm not mom of the year, but I've definitely gotten to learn that patience and forgiveness of yourself and of your kids is the best thing possible.
You know you're a mom when you run towards the puke with cupped hands instead of away from the puke, but also when you can finally get a glimpse of what God's unconditional love feels like.
You know you're a mom when you get kisses and all your troubles melt away.